In 1979, Rede Globo launched the TV series Carga Pesada. In it, the protagonists Pedro and Bino, portrayed by Antonio Fagundes and Stinio Garcia, crossed Brazil with a Scania LK141 truck. Due to its success, a continuation was made in 2003. In the new phase, the actors remained, but the trucks were updated. Now, Pedro and Bino traveled the country with the Tita and Constellation models from Volkswagen. Despite the modernization, they still used the cara chata, flat face, which is very popular in Brazil. Contrastingly, in the United States, trucks are quite different. Most of them have the engine in front of the cabin, resembling mobile homes. One might question, wouldn't it make more sense for Pedro and Bino to use an American truck, allowing one to rest while the other drove? The answer might seem obvious, but American trucks are rare in Brazil. The bicudos, with the engine in front of the cabin, are not even manufactured here anymore. So, why such a marked difference? Could it be a matter of preference among Brazilian drivers? Or are there deeper reasons for the distinctness between Brazilian and American trucks? And is it prohibited to use these giants on our roads? These questions lead us to reflect on the peculiarities of automotive culture between the two countries. The first truck manufactured in Brazilian lands might surprise many. It wasn't Mercedes, Volvo, or Scania, but rather the Bandeirante. Created in Rio de Janeiro by a Portuguese immigrant, this small truck could carry up to 7 tons. Its creator initially focused on equipment for coffee processing. The Bandeirante stood out, even being sent to Seville, Spain, to represent the country in an international fair. However, despite the recognition, it didn't have continuous production. So, who really drove the truck industry in Brazil? In 1942, during the Vargas era, the FNM, or Fábrica Nacional de Motores, National Engine Factory, was born. Starting with a focus on aeronautical engines, scarce demand prompted it to reinvent itself in 1949, shifting to trucks. Initially allied with the Italian Isotta Fraschini, it launched the D7300 model. Changes in partnerships brought collaboration with Alfa Romeo. In 1951, the D9500, also known as the cara chata, was introduced. FNM's trajectory solidified, and its vehicles earned the nickname Fanin. But what brought the international giants here? In the 1950s, with Kubitschek's rise, industrialization, and road construction grew. Mercedes-Benz was the foreign pioneer, producing the L312, nicknamed bicudo, or torpedo. This movement opened doors for other major names. Volvo, Scania, Volkswagen, Chevrolet, and Ford soon recognized Brazil's potential. Icons like the Scania 111 and the Mercedes 1111 became symbols of Brazilian highways. Yet, the question persists, what made Brazil so attractive to these manufacturers? And how did the evolution of trucks impact our road transportation? These are valuable reflections, showing the intersection between culture, economy, and mobility. In the United States, the trajectory of trucks began early. In 1899, autocar started production, and it continues to this day. In the same year, the first semi-trailer emerged, destined for vehicle delivery. However, until 1914, railway transport predominated. The First World War brought a scenario of crowded trains and a growing demand for transport, leading to the appreciation of trucks. They truly took off with the interstate highway system in the 1950s, solidifying themselves as the primary means of freight transportation. Why this specific evolution in the US? They shaped their trucks to local needs. Thus, companies like Peterbilt and Freightliner outlined the classic American style, becoming icons. However, the current landscape reveals a web of corporate ownership. Despite the diversity of brands, many are under the umbrella of large conglomerates. Examples? Daimler Truck houses Mercedes-Benz and Mitsubishi. PACCAR brings together Peterbilt and DAF. Volkswagen controls Scania and International. And then there's Volvo, with a strong global presence. Given this scenario, a question arises: with a few groups dominating production, why such a marked distinction between US and Brazilian trucks? Wouldn't it be more practical to unify these models? The distinction between American and Brazilian trucks is immediately noticeable, and the cabin design offers the first clue. In the United States, trucks with a setback cabin predominate, with the engine positioned in front. In Brazil, on the other hand, trucks known as cara, chata, flat face, dominate the scene, with no protrusions at the front. Why this striking difference? The last model of Bicudo truck in Brazil, the Mercedes Atran 1635, went out of production in 2020. Legislation proves to be an essential factor. The National Traffic Council, CONTRAN, in Brazil defines 18 meters and 15 centimeters as the maximum size for an articulated truck, from the front bumper to the rear end. By positioning the engine beneath the cabin, there's space gained for loads, generating more revenue per trip. It's a logical and financial matter. In the United States, the rules are different. Sleeper cabs don't factor into the measurement of size, allowing trucks with front-mounted engines and spacious cabins, often compared to homes on wheels. Respecting legislation and seeking profitability explains the prevalence of flat-face trucks in Brazil. But is that all there is to it? Geographical differences of each country come into play. Vast plains dominate the US, enabling straight and flat roads where truck size and power are less relevant. In Brazil, rugged terrain and winding roads demand more power and maneuverability from shorter vehicles. It's worth noting that most Brazilian models are designed for the European market. With modern roads, but also narrow and winding routes, and vast mountain ranges, European trucks need to be prepared for such terrains. American cities, newer and with wider streets, favor longer trucks, while in European cities, shorter trucks have advantages. These geographical and urban differences even affect engine power. On flat terrains, less power is needed. A comparison between three Volvo models illustrates this difference, with variations from 405 to 750 horsepower, depending on the market. Notably, in the US, an owner can choose the engine, even from another manufacturer. Isn't that an interesting difference? Aerodynamics, more commonly associated with sports cars, also matter in trucks. Flat-face trucks can reach higher speeds, an advantage in the US, where maximum speed limits are higher. In Brazil, with a limit of 90 km per hour, about 56 miles per hour, aerodynamics have less influence. Manufacturing is then shaped according to market preferences, and American drivers, without limitations, often opt for larger trucks. Comfort is a crucial factor. Larger sleeper cabs are more comfortable, with less vibration and jolting, and may even include luxuries like a double bed and a microwave. On long American journeys, this comfort makes a difference. Drivers are also responsible for the difference in truck paintings. Customizations are common in the US, with competitions even awarding the most beautiful designs. It reflects a rich tradition, isn't it fascinating? And if a Brazilian trucker wants to drive one of these machines, get ready for a high cost. In 2021, importing 10 units of the Peterbilt 389 model cost around 2 million Brazilian reais each. That's nearly double the price of the Volvo FH540, the best-selling model in Brazil in 2022. With this price and other considerations, seeing American trucks on Brazilian roads will continue to be rare. Isn't it surprising how multiple factors, like legislation, geography, economics, and even culture, shape the trucking industry in such distinct ways?